क्योंकि आज के टाइम पे एक लड़की अकेले जाने से पहले 100 बार सोचती है. उसे अगर अकेले कहीं जाना भी होता है, उसकी फैमिली उसे 100 बार मना करती है. लाइक दिस हैपेंड विद मी. माय फैमिली वाज लाइक कि यार तू एक लड़की है, हाउ विल यू सर्वाइव इन बॉम्बे, लाइक हाउ विल यू डू थिंग्स ऑन योर ओन.
जब हमारे पोस्टर्स भी आए थे, we would keep calling each other, dude, हमारे faces नहीं दिख
हमारे शक्ल नहीं दिख रही है यार, शक्ल तो दिखनी चाहिए यार.
It is literally the day that doesn't need to exist because every day is that day if you are a woman. It's Women's Day, darlings. And welcome to FC Popcorn. I'm Rotox. And I have with me Deepanjana. Deepanjana,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you to welcoming me to our own podcast.
And happy Women's Day.
I'm feeling so woman. I brought out my most crushed cotton sari because I was like, the auntie avatar must exist. We
Bilkul.
are amongst very cool people today.
Woo.
Therefore, I am the one balancing it all out.
Hey, shut up. Yeah. All right. Alongside, of course, Deepanjana, who is a FC staple, we also have two wonderful girls who've joined us today. You've seen them in the theatres, hopefully, with Laapataa Ladies. And it's their first filmy debut. So I'm very excited for that. Pratibha, Ranta, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
And of course, we've got Nitanshi, Goel, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Laapataa Ladies की ladies आप हैं. Okay, और ये पहली बार हम कर रहे हैं that we're going to be actually breaking down this film with you. So I'm going to let the chief, take over, and that is DB.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations to both of you. We now know, like, some of us who watched the film before were like keeping all of our fingers crossed that the audiences would see what we've seen in the film and what we've loved. And it turns out they have.
Yay!
So congratulations on the success of the film. In a nutshell, this is a very difficult film to actually describe because it seems like a simple bride swap, right? Two brides ghungat down to their navels trying to navigate rural India and then finding themselves in the wrong homes at the end of a journey. This has happened 100 times in Hindi cinema. And it has mostly been used for very sentimental maudlin family dramas.
Yeah.
This turns out to be a comedy because there is a mystery in there, there's a missing persons case, there's a corrupt cop, and holding the film together, for me at least, are a group of women across ages.
Yes.
So there's the two of you.
Yeah.
Pratibha and Nitanshi play the lead roles and they are the life of that film. But like there are very, very strong women holding them in place as well.
Yeah.
Beginning with, for me at least, Manju Mai.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the lady with all the mic drop dialogues.
Yeah, I love how she's like this amazing voice that keeps telling, Phool,
Yeah.
कि क्यों नहीं ले सकती तुम अपने पति का नाम, and she's challenging it. And what I loved most, and of course we'll let the two of you talk वरना फिल्म आपकी है, नहीं बात फिल्म आपकी है, बात तो हम ही करेंगे. Is that she is within the same strata,
Yeah.
which I think is so important, right? ये बहुत जरूरी है क्योंकि अक्सर ये जो लिबरल विमेन होते हैं, जो हमें फिल्मों में दिखाते हैं, वो उनके पास शायद ज्यादा पैसा होता है या उनके पास ज्यादा पावर होता है जिसकी वजह से वो लिबरल हो सकती हैं. बट क्योंकि वो शी इज वन ऑफ एवरीबडी एल्स, आई थिंक इट स्ट्राइक्स अ मच मोर जेन्युइन नोट.
Absolutely, I agree. Tell me, Nitanshi, what was it like for you to be in those scenes? Because Phool has an evolution that Manjumai is very, very central to.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you and Phool don't have that much in common. So now we can be as spoilery as you want.
Yes. The first thing that came to my mind when I was like, we are coming here, I was like, now we can finally speak about the film. Because every time questions would come in, we were like, okay, these are the answers we're going to provide and this is what you can talk about. Phool and I, we connect on some of the things. Firstly, the innocence. The moment I read the character, I could feel her innocence because she's been in this protected environment. And same goes for me.
Yeah.
My parents are very protective of me. And I've always been in this little boundaries, little home, small group of friends, in my own world. So like now when I'm stepping in the outside world, the skills are coming in place. So that's what happens with Phool as well. And with Manjumai, I remember when I would read these scenes and when I would be in the scenes, I would get lost in her dialogues. I would literally be in the moment and I would listen to her and I'd be like, and all of the reactions would be honest. Because I'm listening to her and whatever she's saying is with so much genuineness and it's true. And like you said, some of them have money, some of them have power. I think Manjumai has experience.
Yeah.
Which is
Life
so
experience,
strong.
life
Because,
experience.
yeah, she sees me and she's like, this is the logic and this is how it takes place. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And Dhire Dhire, I think Phool is also optimistic.
Yes.
The way she's ready to learn and unlearn.
And the
moment,
hope
yeah.
that she holds on
Oh,
to. Like,
yes.
everybody around her is telling her that
know.
your husband is not in love with
not.
you. He's taken your money. These are the spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
No, he's not coming back. And there's Phool who's like, no, he'll come.
Yeah.
And that is so
but-
important. And I think that is why this film is a win for me.
Yeah.
Because there is room for that hope. There is room for women to hope that there will be better men
Hmm.
Yeah.
at the end of it in the world. There is
Mhm.
also better men in the world. And I think, big spoiler, लेकिन यार रवि किशन साहब,
Oh.
even though we said we'll talk about the women characters, it's
Yeah.
really important to talk about the allies because we're
Mhm.
not existing in a world without the men. And if the men don't have these role models around them,
Yeah.
because Sparsh's character,
Yeah.
jahan
Deepak.
par, where Deepak is also kind of going through the motions and he doesn't know really if he can ask for what he wants. I feel the
Mhm.
patriarchy gets to Deepak so many times.
Of course.
Right? And that is one of the saddest things. So,
Hmm.
मर्द भी पिस रहे हैं यार, औरतें भी पिस रही हैं.
Yeah.
But I think Ravi Kishan's character also left us with that hope.
100%.
Yeah.
And especially when you see him, I mean, in a way, for me at least, you have Manjumai and Phool getting one dynamic, and you have Pratibha's character.
Yeah.
Your character with
Yeah.
Ravi Kishan's Inspector Manohar. Manohar
Yeah.
only his name was, no?
Manohar,
Yeah.
yes.
He's learning from her.
Yeah.
He's learning from her without being obvious about it.
Yeah.
But it's that openness to say that, okay, maybe I don't have it right. He's got all
Hmm.
of these, when he's going around stalking,
Yeah.
basically. Because that surveillance was not necessary.
Yeah.
but that was a great example of how you can take something very creepy, which is a policeman going after
Yeah.
a young woman,
Yeah.
and turn it around because she is able to make him see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's doing the
Convince-
right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jaya, I feel जब जया का character मनोहर के सामने आता भी है, initially it's very, you don't get to understand what exactly it's happening.
हाँ.
But then eventually, even Manohar understands, oh my God, this girl, she has a lot of passion.
Yeah.
And when we see true, honest passion in someone's eyes, I think किसी का भी दिल पिघल जाता है because, you see the struggle behind it, you see so many things. So I think मनोहर की भी वो एक जो side जो change होती है, जब वो जया के लिए वो passion देखता है, I think that is just incredible.
There is a film that you're laughing.
Yeah.
And I love a film like this, जहाँ पर बड़ी-बड़ी बातें बड़ी आसानी से बोली जा रही हैं.
Yeah.
लेकिन there is a point जहाँ पर बड़े-बड़े आंसू भी आए.
Yeah.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I love
Yeah.
to let a movie take me to that point जहाँ पर मैं रो रही.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that scene when the entire film just, मुद्दा बाहर आता है. He does what he does with you,
Yeah.
and what was it like shooting that scene?
So, जब मैंने वो scene पढ़ा भी था, I was literally able to visualize what exactly, बोला जा रहा है उन scenes में. उस scene में एक बहुत ही अच्छी line बोली जाती है कि हम चुराए भी थे तो जिंदगी से बस एक मौका चुराए थे. कि मैंने अगर किसी से मौका चुराया भी है तो मैंने अपनी जिंदगी से चुराया, मैंने तुम सबकी जिंदगी से कुछ नहीं किया है. So, जो मैं कर रही हूँ वो मैं अपने लिए कर रही थी. And Deepak says कि तो फिर तो झूठ क्यों बोली? And when I say that कि अगर सच बोलते तो मान जाते, क्योंकि आज के टाइम पे एक लड़की अकेले जाने से पहले 100 बार सोचती है. उसे अगर अकेले कहीं जाना भी होता है उसकी फैमिली उसे 100 बार मना करती है. Like this happened with me when I was coming from Shimla. My family was like कि यार तू एक लड़की है, how will you survive in Bombay? Like how will you do things on your own? And it's a very general concern for everyone.
Absolutely.
And it's genuine.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
genuine. But when she says कि जब वो बोलती है कि अगर सच बोलती तो मान जाते. एक तो ऑलरेडी इतनी चीजें उसके अराउंड घूम रही है कि ये लड़की कहाँ से आ गई है, फूल कहाँ चली गई है, इतनी चीजें हो रही है. एंड आई थिंक वो कन्विंस करने के लिए जो eventually जो पूरी चीज that comes along is a passion that she really wants to do something out of her life. She wants to achieve her dreams and education. I feel the base of everything is education. Education जिस तरह से हमारी पूरी society को change करता है, I think that's the most empowering thing.
You know, there
Yeah,
are two
person can
points that I want to make here. One
Yeah.
is this is for fun, for fun
Okay.
between the two of us. Is I want to take two scenes. Okay,
Oh.
one is the patriarchy. That was
Yeah.
the Ja Simran Ja moment in the 90s.
Mhm.
It's a similar scene, right? It's a similar
Yeah.
scene where the
Yeah.
patriarch comes in and gives the girl permission to go
Go.
away with her lover.
Yeah.
And thank God we're in 2024. And thank God Kiran Rao is making a film.
Yes.
And thank God there's a female gaze or perspective where there still is a man, okay, at the apex of this. Because he is, I mean, for whatever it's worth in our society, those are the apex predators. They're also the apex sort of decision makers.
Yeah.
But taking that same sort of trope and turning it around to say, okay, Ja Simran Ja, in this case, Ja Jaya Ja,
Yeah.
जी ले अपनी जिंदगी.
Mm.
हाँ.
जो सही मायने हैं of that line, which is
Yeah.
जी ले अपनी जिंदगी, landed up in this film for me, and
Yeah.
it wasn't in DDLJ.
कि तू
One
बहुत
of-
दूर
Yeah.
जाएगी.
One of the things that I absolutely loved about Laapataa Ladies is, and Kiran's sort of reimagining of that Ja Simran Ja moment is, first of all, that it's on a bus. Right? Because it's slightly khatara. It's
Yeah.
going to take a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
it'll get there. As a
Yeah.
metaphor, it works so beautifully. Also, not one person is giving her permission,
Yeah.
but the whole family,
Family.
this chosen family of hers,
Yeah.
is there as her backup.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like you said, thank God for 2024 and thank God for Kiran Rao, because it really sort of reimagines a sequence which, for many reasons, good and not so great, it's embedded in our minds, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I really loved about what we saw in Laapataa Ladies, once again, was the friendship. It would have been so easy to have Phool and Jaya in a slightly anxiety-ridden
Yeah.
competition.
I
कि,
know.
Phool अगर वापस आ गई तो मेरा क्या होगा?
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
standard sort of stereotypical
Yeah.
competition for a very small slice of this family power dynamic. It just the film completely turns this around. Like there's that moment where Sparsh's mother is saying to her mother-in-law
Yeah.
कि हम सहेली नहीं बन सकते.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, that was my tear up.
I love
Yeah,
It's
that. Yeah.
It was
I
like
love
an old feminist one tear kind of situation. But that is the most radical part of Laapataa Ladies for me. That it imagines a world where women are standing by one another, where
Yeah.
they are sahelis, where they are
Absolutely.
not
Absolutely.
competing.
It's so true because they say female friendships are the most strongest friendships that we see
It's
around.
True. It's the most genuine friendships.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I'm having the female friendships, I feel like it's you can be there. Like, for example, us.
Yeah.
I'll take us as the example. Many people might they ask us questions.
Yes,
कि,
because
know,
you both have had
Yeah.
debut together.
Yes.
You could have been fighting for the
Pitted.
spotlight.
Pitted
no,
against each
that
other.
did not happen. In fact, हमारे scenes बहुत कम होते थे साथ
Yeah.
में. But there was this one thing. मेरे कुछ scenes होते थे. She would come into my vanity and I would tell her this happened, and then this scene went like this. I was like, wow, dude. And then she would tell me her scenes and I would listen to her. And in fact, जब हमारे posters भी आए थे, we would
Yeah.
keep calling each other, dude, हमारे faces नहीं दिख
हमारे
रहे."
शक्ल नहीं दिख रही है यार, शक्ल तो दिखनी चाहिए यार. And people are like constantly calling me up and saying, bro, तू तो घूंघट में है यार.
अरे
फिल्म में नहीं है.
And then we would like, listen, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. We would literally tell each other कि सब ठीक हो जाएगा, and we will wait for the next poster जिसमें हमारी शक्लें दिखे.
And finally the last poster comes.
Actually ये बहुत important है. फिल्म तो एक तरफ है, लेकिन here you guys are also, this is the first time such
हाँ जी.
amazing things are happening to you.
Yeah.
अब चलो घूंघट जब उठ गया, लोगों ने चेहरा देख लिया, अब
हम्म.
लोगों को पता है कि आप दोनों जो हैं इन्होंने ये फिल्म में डेब्यू किया है, right?
Yeah.
But through this film, as your first film, what have you undergone as a process change for yourself
Mhm.
as girls who are part of this big bad world? Who have been the women around you? What have you learned as this process? Like, are there things that you are grateful for? Okay, yeah. And let's break this for the audience.
Yeah.
She's still 16.
Yeah, we're not calling them girls to
Yeah.
infantilize them.
Yeah,
They
please.
genuinely are.
Please, I think it's an amazing place in
Yeah.
your life. I think I wouldn't have had this grace at 16. I wouldn't.
Absolutely.
I don't know how I would handle this opportunity at 16. I have never asked you your age, but I'm thinking you're also very young.
Okay. I didn't mind you anything that.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're at a place where, it's amazing. Like, and it's awesome to meet women who are kahin na kahin older than us and wiser than us. And,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of women have done that for me. So who did that for you and what have you learned?
Kiran ma'am. I think I am just so lucky to have Kiran ma'am in my life. I really look up to her. I mean the way, firstly, हमने जिस तरीके से ये फिल्म शूट करी है, कोविड टाइम हमने शूट करी थी, एंड वी डिड नॉट हैव आवर डीओपी सर. 2 दिन पहले उनको कोविड हो गया था, एंड दैट डिड नॉट स्टॉप किरण मैम. वी वर समवेयर स्केयर्ड, वी वर लाइक कैसे होगा, क्या होगा. She was the person who was extremely solution oriented.
Yeah.
She was like, this is the problem, this has to be the solution. She never focused on the problems, and I think she was so sweet on these sets. I remember I used to be so scared to discuss some scenes with her. I'd be like, she's Kiran ma'am. I am this and she's Kiran ma'am. How do I go to her and tell her that this is the scene and I'm thinking like this? There was this one scene, there's a breakdown scene of pool in the film, and I was like, how do I tell? So, like, the scene was there in the film, but it was not in such a way. जैसे अब उसे फिल्म में दर्शाया गया. So I went to Kiran ma'am and I was like, ma'am, I'm thinking we could do this. And she's like, what are you saying? I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I'm so happy that we're on the same page. And one thing about her, वो हम सबको पहले हमारा craft करने देती है. She's never been this कि, do this, do that, and that's it. She would literally tell us कि पहले you do what you want to do, and then I'll guide you. In fact, she's literally like a mother to us. Wherever we go, मुझे तो I can imagine Kiran ma'am being like the mother, Amir sir literally being like the proud father, and they're like, ये हमारे 3 बच्चे हैं, इन्होंने बड़ी मेहनत करी है, आप प्लीज इन्हें देख लिया. फिर हम स्पीच बोलते हैं, आमिर सर हमें सुन रहे हैं, किरण मैम हमें सुन रहे हैं, we're like, this is it, and बाकी वो संभाल लेंगे.
Life lessons, Pratibha?
I think from Kiran ma'am I've learned this very beautiful thing, like how naturally she conveys her story without being she वो extra effort नहीं दिखता है उनकी story में. It's so flawless. जब मैंने खुद फिल्म देखी, I was blown away from the fact that हर एक character को उनका specific space मिल रहा है. And I think it's a brilliance. मतलब ये बहुत ही commendable बात है. And I think जो सबसे बड़ा takeaway मैं किरण मैम से लेती हूँ, like I've seen so much difference in my personality before I was shooting Laapataa and after Laapataa. Like the way I perceive my craft now, there's big difference in that. Now I know that how I want to look at myself, how to when I'm performing, what are the small nuances that I want to add. ये छोटी-छोटी चीजें मैंने मैम से सीखी हैं, and I want to carry that forward with me, like how to create that magic moment in your scenes. उससे पहले I think हमें उतनी awareness नहीं थी. अगर awareness थी भी, हमने कभी execute नहीं किया था. In Laapataa, we got to execute that under like good guidance. Where you get that confidence कि अच्छा हाँ यार ऐसा किया जा सकता है. Like you experiment, you put so many things into the plate, and जब वो finally बाहर आता है, it is just beautiful.
One thing that did strike me, the first thing that struck me when I was watching Laapataa was also just the refreshing joy of seeing real looking people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right? Now, the two of you are stunning women. You are stunning without makeup and everything else that you do. You are stunning with makeup and all the things. These are choices of, how we choose to present ourselves and what kind of facade we choose to bring in.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see a film which celebrates the non-facade beauty.
Yeah.
Because the facade beauty is being celebrated in 100 million ways today in various social media as well as popular media. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that makeup se bhi bahut sundar lagte hain. Yes, everybody knows, right?
That.
Yeah.
But to say that here's somebody who does not have access to all of these tools and will still look in a standard salwar kameez in case of Pratibha's character, in that I love the fact that Phool will not let go of that sari.
Yeah.
She will wear that sari, does not matter, because but that kind of attachment is not to the fact of the sari itself, but what it means. It means womanhood, it means marriage, it means faith.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing. It's such a contrast between the gorgeousness of the sari and the plainness of the face. I'm so glad to see it on screen from an audience perspective, but really from as a woman, I'm so happy that two of you as young women making their debut were able to see how beautiful you can look
Absolutely.
without any trapping.
Yeah.
Because you know how beautiful you are with trappings, but you should know that even on the biggest screen possible, you are stunningly beautiful with nothing but the most basic of accessories. That's something that it's a gift to you, but through you it becomes a gift to
So
Other
many other
women.
girls.
Other girls.
Yeah.
I mean, here you are living the beauty influencer life. Hashtag GRWM.
So this is something that I want to throw to you, Rohini. For you, were there, because I know that you have grown up with films as your
Best friend.
Yeah, bestie of life, like the
Bestie,
BFF
true.
of life.
True.
Who were the women that made you feel good about yourself when you watched them on screen?
When you know me a little bit, because we've done this a couple of times. And honestly, when I was growing up, it was Team Madhuri versus Team Sridevi, right?
Mm.
For me, it was always Team Sridevi. Because I could never be as pretty as Madhuri. Madhuri was ethereal, you know. Unme ek ada, ek nazakat, and it's important. You can aspire to be that. But Sridevi was funny, and she was badass.
Mm-hmm.
She did Naka Bandi, Are You Ready? You know, dressed in like S&M-ish, like gear bondage. At that point, we didn't even know it was hinting at something like that. She was Hawa Hawaii.
Yeah.
She was a part of the plot in ways that it could progress.
Mm-hmm.
She was Chalbaz, where she could be Anju and Manju, where she could drink alcohol in a scene, in a film. And it was her habit.
Yeah.
And she could, you know, she could not be right also. And I think that she just took virtue and threw it out. So I think she was really, really badass.
Mm.
But I also, at the same time, because the 90s was so important to me, when I was thinking about this podcast, I said a really important role was Juhi Chawla for me in Yes Boss. Because there's a line that she leaves with the character where she says कि दो नाकामयाब, you know, लोग एक कामयाब जिंदगी नहीं बना सकते.
Right.
And as filmy as Sanjay Chel wrote that line, I thought it was so empowering because here was a girl who was ambitious, all right? And वो काम कर रही थी,
Yeah.
you know? So all these women who worked in the movies like really stood out for me because Sridevi
It was so
Chandni also
rare.
went for a job.
Yeah.
Remember we
Yes.
spoke about this.
Yes.
Like वो नौकरी पेशा. And I think Rishikesh Mukherjee की फिल्मों में, Basu Chatterjee की
Basu
फिल्मों में,
Chatterjee.
ये
Yeah.
सारी लड़कियां साड़ी पहन के बस में जा रही है.
Mhm.
You know, so I think that to me were badass women
Yeah.
versus women who were obviously badass,
Mhm.
you know, because there's a film like Cocktail later, you know,
Mhm.
where you have the stereotypical badass girl.
Yeah.
You know, badass does not mean that you need to be smoking, drinking, wearing short skirts. And then she was still very human. And I think that's the win of that film, right? Of that character. But until then, you know, if you smoke, drank, the badass, it's a definition that's a little misplaced.
And I think we have talked about this before, but Sridevi had a way of taking vice and making it seem lovable.
Yes.
Because she was so cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, she's, of course, stunningly beautiful. But here was a woman who took her beauty and pushed it into comedy. So that you suddenly stopped noticing that every feature on that face is perfection. And instead you were like, oh my God, I'm laughing right now. You know, like there's something so accessible about a woman who will stumble, who will make funny faces, and who can at the blink of an eye go from being the complete comic cartoon to, I don't know, the chiffon sari sequence in Mr. India, which is like sexuality personified. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, we talked today about the importance of pleasure and importance of keeping the gaze on a woman's pleasure. This is a film that did that by literally making the man invisible.
Invisible.
Literally said, thanks, but you
Aap
can do
jaiye.
everything that you need to do invisibly.
Yeah.
We will just focus on her. And she's like, she's loving it. And I love it for her.
Yeah, she's like self-pleasure, max 101. She's like, I love you. No, baby, I love me. Who were your role models? Like, were there role models in the movies you were watching growing up?
Yeah, I think initially Kangna was a great role model for me because she's from Himachal. I am from Himachal. Initially, I think she really played a very important role in my life because, you know, the kind of passion she had, I was really able to relate to that passion. And then eventually, I think Alia Bhatt took it over. Like the kind of films, you know, she's been doing right now. She did Highway. वो हाईवे में कैसी जैसे उन्होंने परफॉर्म किया एंड नाउ शी इज डूइंग रॉकी एंड रानी
Yeah.
her transition, the way her choices जो characters pick करती है. And Gangubai is like one of my favorite.
That's
So
a great
I think
example.
it started off from Kangna and now it's Alia Bhatt.
What about you,
Yeah.
Nitanshi?
So firstly, I have now started watching all of Sridevi Ji's movies.
Oh, what a
because
joy.
it is
First time,
amazing.
yaar. How fun.
Because my mama
wonderful.
has this thing that every Saturday, एक टाइम हम मेरे ज़माने की फिल्में देखेंगे, एक टाइम हम उनके ज़माने की फिल्में देखेंगे. So sometimes she has to see K-dramas, and then I have to see.
You're your K-drama bestie.
Oh wow.
I am.
Oh,
Yes.
yay! Bonding. So well.
So cute. Oh, Deepanjana, I need to see you do this, dude.
Please, yeah.
So
This is his heart.
This I can do.
this
This
yeah.
I'm doing all the
This
time.
is the heart.
Yeah.
So like I show her some of my part, and she shows me all of the Hum Aapke Hai Kaun, Mr. India,
Yeah.
Chalbaz, and I'm like, great movies. I was like, wow, DDLJ.
Oh.
And then I absolutely fell in love with Sridevi Ji's expressions. And then I saw how she's in real life. She's in real life. I actually relate to her in real life. She's like this shy person, would not meet a lot of people, is always smiling, and is this. And then the moment you see her on camera, she's a completely different person. I was like, this is the same person? What are you saying? And then secondly, Deepika Padukone. I love how she speaks through her eyes. चाहे फिर वो पद्मावत हो, चाहे फिर वो बाजीराव मस्तानी हो, चाहे फिर वो पीकू हो. I mean, the simplicity she carries in all of her characters, her eyes, her smile. Oh, I absolutely love how she's.
You know,
taken up the
because
craft.
she said Kangana, I rewatched Queen.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
favorite film.
I love that film.
In terms of a character, I thought the Vijay Lakshmi character,
Hmm.
on rewatching it, I realized was so badass and was such an enabler. Like again, like she comes in at a point where she says she's giving galis to some dude that she slept with, and then there's a very specific shot I remember where she's turning around to do something, and there's a shot like this because फिर भी वो picture तो मर्द ने ही बनाई थी, and there's one shot, go watch it, of her butt where there's no need for that shot to be like that, but anyway it's there. But what I loved about her character is that I've never seen a female character being so liberatedly dressed on screen.
Yeah.
And I think that as much as the other characters or other heroines who've done roles like this, they're still carrying the weight. They have to behave like that.
Right.
I think Lisa Hayden is that person. She's wearing a bra that shows and it's neon pink, and there is a casualness to it that she just owns and carries. Her legs are chocolate and damn long, and her shorts are too short. But it's never something that stands out. And I think that at one point there's a beautiful exchange again in like a railway station, where Vijay Lakshmi is saying bye to Queen, and Rani is going, and then Rani tells her, she says, ऐसे किसी के साथ भी sex मत करना, थोड़ा कम कर देना, whatever. And within that you see, they're not judging each other, but at the same time it's like we are trying to tell each other, like, be careful. So
Yeah.
that when she says that to her, I never felt her being, because she's a small town girl or whatever, coming to her and giving her judgment, because I think by the time they cover that journey in the film, she realizes that there is no need to judge Vijay Lakshmi. And I think that character to me has stood out for a decade now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I was thinking when you were talking about this sort of, slightly grey, but yet almost aspirational kind of a woman, like this badass woman, basically. You can't be badass as a wholly good character is not going to be badass. There have to be shades of grey. And for me, that really sort of happened most recently, I think, with Deepika's character in Pathan, because she's a traitor to her country, technically.
Yeah.
She is a traitor to her country, technically. She's collaborating with the enemy. She's first of all teamed up with John Abraham's character, who's the arch villain. No, then you have Shah Rukh Khan, who is also a great character at that point of time. She is standing by her principles, but her principles put her in opposition with the world around her. It does not make her budge. That's what kind of makes her badass. Vijay Lakshmi has that same quality where she's like, I know what I believe in.
Yeah.
If you are scared by my neon bra, that is your problem.
Yeah.
You know? And of course, like, she ends up being a minor character in the narrative of Queen. Important but minor. It's great to see someone like Deepika Padukone being able to make the heroine in a male-dominated film have as much space as Deepika's character does
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Pathaan, because we all know that that's very, very rare.
Yeah.
We've got better in a lot of the mainstream films. We now see slightly better representation of women, better characterization for them, but too often it either feels token or the cool woman is inevitably sidelined after being like a an appetizer for things. Jawan is a great example. Both Deepika and Nayantara are playing amazing characters
Yeah.
who must please literally be locked up so that the men can fight at the end.
Can do it.
You
Yeah.
know?
Can do something.
Yes.
I think even I was thinking when you were talking, because this is what happens, right? You start talking and there's so much like so many thoughts.
You cannot talk about badass women of Hindi cinema without mentioning her. Rekha.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right?
Khoon bhari maang, baby.
Thank you.
Khoon bhari maang for life.
Khoon Bhari Maang and Utsav. Two starkly different films. Like, it does not get any more different than these two. Utsav is, I think, set somewhere like the 11th or 12th century.
Mhm.
It's a historical drama in which Rekha plays a courtesan. You will not find a more beautiful woman
Yeah.
On
ever.
screen.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah,
on
yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Like,
Oof.
there's a scene in which she's asked another character to help take the jewelry off her. Like, literally all of her is jewelry.
Oof.
And it's just a chain that's being removed. We were all hormonal puddles. Not because of the chain, but because of Rekha's eyes. The expression in her eyes, the way that she knows what just the half-lidded look that it will destroy all of us. Incredible. And then you have Khoon Bhari Maang, where Madam comes out with like gun, leather jacket, every camp trope that you can
मैं
think of.
ज्योति भी हूँ और मैं आरती भी. वाह, ये तो रजवाड़े के कंगन लगते हैं. हाँ, ये रजवाड़ों के ही कंगन है. मैंने कभी नहीं देखा है. Man, I love that film so much.
It's so good. It's so good. And it's such a range, right? Like, it tells you can have fun with it. You're allowed to be violent. Khoon Bhari Maang is one unapologetically violent film.
पता है इसके क्लाइमैक्स में क्या होता है? एक्चुअली शुरुआत और क्लाइमैक्स दो हाई
दोनों
पॉइंट
ही,
बताती हूँ.
yeah.
शुरुआत में कबीर बेदी एक रिच विडो को, क्योंकि उसके पास बहुत दौलत, पैसा, जायदाद होती है, उसे धक्का दे देता है एक बोट में से और वो मगरमच्छ उसे खा लेता है.
The most
And that's a
rubbery
Rekha.
magarmach that you have ever seen.
That's oh.
Oh my God! I was reducing out of खून भरी मांग. Cool का expression देखिए. और वो मगरमच्छ उसे खा लेता है, लेकिन जैसे कि हर हिंदी फिल्म में होता है ना 90s में, वो सिर्फ आधा ही मरता है.
See, if
या
you're
आधा ही
a
मरती है.
rubber magarmach, that's
आधा ही
as much
मरेगा.
you can do. I
So
mean,
now she goes through an amazing technique of Ayurvedic plastic surgery, जहाँ पर वो लेप लगा के उसके स्किन को रिस्टोर करते हैं.
hashtag made in India.
Hashtag made in India, hashtag Bharat. And then she comes back, okay, with completely healed, okay.
Skin.
इतना healed कि वो जो उसने पुश किया था उसको मगरमच्छों में, उसको दिखता ही नहीं कि सेम लड़की है. मतलब imagine the levels of plastic surgery. So he can't recognize her.
Oh, okay.
To be fair,
I love this. This is my favorite part of this
this
show.
is working out really well, guys. Plastic surgeried Rekha comes back as so glam and so bling that there is not a planet in the galaxy that has not woken up.
Yeah.
To her eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Rest of
She's
her.
like, मैं मॉडल बनना चाहती हूँ. Then that secretary is like, यहाँ पर हर लड़की जो आती है उसे मॉडल ही बनना है. And then she looks up and then she's like,
Yeah,
Because
just
वो
silently
इतनी gorgeous
guides
होती
her
है.
away because she's rendered speechless.
अभी इसी फिल्म का लास्ट सीन मैं आपको बताती
Yes.
हूँ. वो आती है एक घोड़े पे,
हाँ.
ओके, घोड़े का नाम होता है राजा,
पूरे का
obviously,
नाम तेरा
obviously, and then वो राजा के ऊपर राइड करके आती है और फिर वो उसे चाबुक से मारती है, नीचे ले जाती है और फिर उसे घिसा she literally takes Kabir Bedi in a chabuk.
Yeah, not Raja. This is happening
Okay.
to Kabir
Kabir,
Bedi.
yeah, I thought
If
Raja.
there was
Kabir
horror
Bedi.
on their
I thought
faces,
Raja.
of course.
बेचारा घोड़ा
No, she's on the horse, guys. The horse is a friend. Okay,
The horse is an ally.
But she's on this horse, and that image is so badass, and it's so powerful.
Also, because it's Kabir Bedi, who, props to Kabir Bedi, has never shied away from doing ridiculous characters. A man as good looking as that could have had aspirations of not being dragged by Rekha, though which man does not want to be dragged by Rekha, or woman for that
Amen.
matter?
Amen.
Anyway, point is, he's being dragged. He's playing an out and out bad guy. Like, there's no redeeming trait to him. Kabir Bedi, to his credit, does it, but also you get an image of this stunningly handsome man. He's the icon of masculine strength and beauty, and he has no redemption in this film. He was good to do that role, because I don't know how many heroes would today be ready to do a role like that. So props to him for that as well.
Yeah. Girls, before we go, because I think it's been a long time कि हम बातें कर रहे हैं.
What are you saying? I still feel like this has just started.
Wow!
We like enjoy.
We want to hear
Come
from you.
on.
We want to hear characters that have inspired you.
And maybe characters that you want to play. Like,
Yeah.
is there something,
Or
is there
film.
a woman that you want to play on screen?
You know, as you said, we were talking about Queen, the film Rani.
Mm-hmm.
I read this review 2 days ago, and I was like, can I screenshot it and put it as my wallpaper? Because someone said that, you know, I relate Fool to Rani a lot. Because this girl is also lost and is at a completely unfamiliar place with people she's not familiar with. And, you know, she's this scared girl. She's this Indian scared girl. And Fool me Grace bhi hai, but then she's also this, the way she runs. Oh, God. ट्रेलर में एक तो उन्होंने सिर्फ मेरा वो रनिंग पार्ट I'm like Fool runs like this dude. Because I remember जब हम रिहर्सल करते थे, this was my day one के पहले, we were doing camera rehearsals. And real people are watching us rehearsing, and they're watching me and all of that. And I'm running like this like 50 to 60 times. So they're like, what has happened with her that she's running like this crazily? And the first time I ran, Karan, I was like, no, I want you to run like this. This is what she did. I'm like, okay, I'll try this. And then I ran like a crazy person, being like, okay, who's this person? And the amount of people have posted and be like, the way she runs, and I'm like, yeah, this is how Fool runs. And the way she says hi, and she goes all crazy.
Yeah.
So I think somewhere I could see Kangana's Rani there.
Hmm.
You know, the innocence she has, and then how she evolves. And she's like, what is this world and what's happening? So that's one compliment I got. जैसे आपने कहा कि जा सिमरन जा, the scene where, you know, the reunion happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both meet. Okay, I'm not used to saying Deepak and Fool meet. I'm like, they meet. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
saying it correct. It's
they
correct.
अब अपने रियल लाइफ में भी पति का नाम नहीं ले सकती.
अपनी रियल लाइफ में अपनी रियल लाइफ की पत्नी
Real
का नाम.
life. Let's be specific. Yeah.
Yes. The
Oh, yeah.
internet.
Okay.
No, nobody will fall for
Yeah,
that. One
Yeah.
hopes. Anyway, yeah.
So when they meet, so many people have written, it's like Raj and Simran
Aw.
meeting, and you know, every time I see their stories, I tear up. It's like,
yeah.
you know, you feel this connection, the way they both meet. So yeah, this is one thing. We got these compliments. I was like, hey.
I think, you know, because we're talking so much about like female characters, there's this one lady who's like really inspired me. Not from the film background, but of course I want to say, because, you know, she plays a real important role in my life. She's my dadi.
Okay.
So like I'll narrate the entire story. So she started working when जब कोई भी लड़की बाहर जाके काम नहीं किया करती थी, मेरी दादी उस वक्त जाके काम करती थी बाहर. एंड हाउ दे से दैट, यू नो, घर की अगर एक लड़की पढ़ी लिखी हो, so she makes sure कि उनकी पूरी फैमिली पढ़ी लिखी हो.
Can I ask what she was doing? What?
She was a teacher.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. एंड उसके बाद, यू नो, उन्होंने मेरी फैमिली को तो पढ़ाया, लेकिन उसके बाद, यू नो, शी टुक ओवर माई एंड माई सिस्टर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. हमें भी पढ़ाया. अभी वो मुंबई आई थी. यू नो, आई फील इट्स सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. एक टाइम के बाद ना हम एक एज में पहुंचते हैं कि हम इवॉल्व होना बंद कर देते हैं, मे बी लाइक आफ्टर 60-70, बट शी इज 80 राइट नाउ. एंड आई लव वो कैसे इवॉल्व हो रही है लाइफ में. तो मेरी बहन की 2 फ्रेंड्स घर आई थी, एंड दे बोथ वर डेटिंग ईच अदर. एंड आई वाज लाइक कि दादी को समझ आएगा भी कि नहीं आएगा, पता नहीं दादी कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगी. एंड जब हमने दादी को बोला कि, यू नो, दे बोथ आर डेटिंग ईच अदर, शी गॉट सो एक्साइटेड, शी गॉट सो हैप्पी टू नो दैट तुम दोनों को प्यार कैसे हुआ, तुम दोनों साथ में कैसे रह रही हो. एंड यू नो, आई जस्ट लव द फैक्ट कि वो जो इवॉल्व होने की चाह है ना उनके अंदर, वो अभी भी है. एंड आई थिंक दैट लाइक रियली इंस्पायर्स मी. या आई थिंक जितना उन्होंने मुझे इंस्पायर किया लाइफ में, आई थिंक नोबडी एल्स हैज डन दैट मच.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I hope both of you, I mean, just from, again, a completely critic's point of view, I can't wait for the two of you to get really badass villain women characters because you're so sweet and so nice that it would be amazing to see you tap into like a really dark place. I don't know.
Oh, I
if-
would love to kill someone on screen.
Yeah. Can I leave you with a movie recommendation?
Please.
या जैसे कि हमने इनको दिया खून भरी
हाँ.
मांग मैं आपको गिफ्ट में देना चाहती हूँ गुप्त.
Oh,
I'm not going to say anything.
masterpiece.
I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Yeah.
Just watch the film Gupt and DM me after you watch
I'm
it.
going to do that.
Because I want, या फिर अपने reactions को shoot करो when you're watching the film.
Okay,
Because
a Khoon Bari Mang reaction and a
Goop
Goop reaction
reaction.
coming up to
Done.
you both.
then you have to tag
Yes,
us
yes.
in this reel and say thank you Rotox, thank you Deepanjana. Because I truly feel that we have this amazing opportunity today
Yeah.
to sit with the two of y'all, and you are truly the future. So thank you so much for allowing us to sit with y'all.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you so much for
absolute
having us.
stars in your own rights, and like coming to us and giving us your time and listening to us बहुत जरूरी है. हम यहाँ की
Actually listening to you.
हम यहाँ की मंजू माई हैं तो हमें सुनने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. You had a good time?
I had a blast.
I'm so glad.
I was like, this is just begin, and I can keep listening to you guys for like the whole day. Please.
मत बोलो ऐसे हम पूरा दिन बात कर
आप कहते रहेंगे, हम सुनते रहेंगे.
Because you guys are funny.
Ah.
Like, I love that
Ah,
thing
yes.
about you both.
Thanks.
It was not a rant. Like, it was a proper nice conversation.
Like your film.
Thank you.
Laapataa Ladies in theaters
Yes.
right now. Please go and watch it. And happy Women's Day to all of you.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.